So, Lloyd Banks, Mr. Blue Hefner, aka the Punchline King. Although, over the years, Banks has proven himself to be more than just a punchline rapper. But this Southside Jamaican Queens veteran is back with his third installment of the Cotty series, which began back in 2021. And this series has represented a resurgence or a second run for Lloyd Banks' career. Now, both Cotty 1 and 2 were well received by fans, but my favorite of the two would have to be Cotty 2. But getting right into this new one, it contains 16 songs lasting approximately 53 minutes. This features production from Cartune Beatz, George Getzon, Haas Almxhdi, Tha Jerm, and Don. But with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with this track-by-track breakdown. The opener, Pieces of My Pain, has this grim, piano-inflicted beat that's punchy, and Banks reminds us that it's only right that he gives you the pieces of his pain. The following lines really grabbed my attention. Dope lines, I'm more than that. Foot trails, I toward the map. Boom bap, I quarterback. Who the F you think taught him that? So he's talking his talk, coming through with that urgency right out the gate. Overall, it's a strong intro, and probably my favorite intro of the trilogy. Track 2, Onyx AMG, has this wavy late night backdrop. It's dark and luxurious, and Banks is hitting us with some fly New York talk as something motivational for the slums. He raps, growing up, we had the foulest examples to supervise us. The work I put in ground level improves horizons, which is hard, and altogether, it's a dope second song. Track 3, Money Machine, has this piano heavy instrumental. It's pure head nodding hip hop. This is a money making anthem. You know, Banks made it from out the bottom, and now he has time to watch the green grow. I thought the following lines were complete fire. My album's flawless for you rap genius to scrutinize. They told me sharks was in that water, watch me scuba dive. I'm out this world, too rare to see it with the human eye. Man, Banks is making this shit look easy. Then we get Cliffhanger, produced by Don, who laces Lloyd Banks with an icy cinematic production. I mean, this is a haunting, multi-layered gem of a beat. There's also a Tupac Hail Mary inspired hook that you can't go wrong with, and Banks is talking about having to roll one deep because friends, they change up. The following 101 Razors, also produced by Don, features the legendary Method Man, who just doesn't seem to miss when it comes to killing features. And this is set to an otherworldly, mystical beat that's ideal for these two New York vets to spit some OG survival bar. And they are reflecting on surviving the cold, harsh streets of NY. Banks' verse was dope, but Method Man has some killer quotables like, you just a buster before the rhymes, you prima donna like a virgin Madonna, just borderline. Immaculate wordplay from this Park Hill vet. After this is movie scenes, where we get a slight change in pace sonically. The beat from George Getzon is still shadowy, but a little more up-tempo and almost trap-like. And Banks is rapping with the trap-like cadence. He states, drop a giant with my ego, moving around illegal. Time to take off on these bitches. R.I.P. my favorite Migo. So Lloyd Banks, I'm with you. Takeoff was my favorite Migo as well. R.I.P. to that man. Things mellow out again on Open Gates, which has this atmospheric, meditative beat from Cartune Beatz. Banks spits 3 dope verses, just sliding on this downcast instrumental. He states, many tried to walk in my shoes, they all disabled. Careful when signing contracts, that record offers fatal. I hit the spot and hoes froze, give me my plaque and rose gold. It's more of a thought-provoking record where he's essentially asking, what would you do to be remembered? Immediately after his LSD feature on Vado, and it has this entrancing boom bap production. The vocal sample is so damn alluring and trippy. It's smooth riding music for an overcast day. Vado does his thing with lines like, about to hear more bloodshed than Cam Mace. Line of crackheads is what I call a fan base. So I dug the Children of Corn reference, and that crack bass head wordplay was witty. Track 9, Voices, also produced by Cartune Beatz, might be Banks's most personal song to date. And it might also be Cartune Beatz' most polished and smoothest production. Here, Banks talks about battling depression, a divorce, and hearing voices in his head, which makes him feel crazy, but it is these voices that won't allow him to quit, and they almost give him that hunger for more. You know, I would have loved a feature like Scarface or someone of that nature on this record, given the dark mental health theme. Next is Red Alert with 38 Special and Tony Yayo. Now this one returns to the more Griselda sounding production. The beat gives you those after midnight nightmarish vibes. Banks had a dope verse and Tony Yayo did his thing, but I found 38 Special had the best performance here. I just enjoyed his flow change up, and of course his boastful talk. My kid's crib costs more than that vid with Janet Jackson and Busta. Now that's some witty, boastful shit that the average person is just not gonna think of. Track 11, Keys to Success, has this spellbinding boom bap production, and Banks is using the double time flow, dropping some gems, but also issuing out some threats. He's giving y'all the game on how to survive the trenches and those hot blocks where betrayal is imminent. Altogether, it was a lyrically dense track with a dope hypnotic beat. Track 12 is Autopilot with the council members Dave East and Vado, and it's set to an atmospheric, mafioso-like instrumental from Cartune Beatz. While both Vado and Dave East has solid verses, I feel it was Lloyd Banks who is the MVP here, especially with bars like Me, V, and Dave East is De Niro, Pacino, and Pesci. My pocket's hefty, Desert Eagle, lefty. Respect me so far ahead, I'll still be past y'all if I leave a century. I also dug when Banks said, I penned these 16s up in purgatory. The punch title does a disservice for me. I'm more than words this gaudy. So he's letting y'all know that he is this complex artist and he's much more than just a guy with dope punchlines. After this is the dreamy and soulful track Invisible, produced by Cartune Beatz. It's another bar-heavy track with Banks going off and hitting us over the head with these streetwise parables. Track 14 is Daddy's Little Girl, which is a heartfelt dedication to his daughter. And here Banks gives us an emotional and poignant performance. And Cartune Beatz supplied a melancholy but touching backdrop, very fitting for this topic. This is a record that's likely gonna resonate with a lot of heads, especially the fathers out there. So yeah, this is a hard track to dislike. If you're hating on it, you know, you're probably a miserable type. Second to last track is Showers, produced by The Jerm, which has this pensive soul beat. It's thinking man's music in a vein similar to a track like Dead Roses from Cotty 2, although less somber than that. Banks raps, funny as kids just wanted Air Jordans, pants falling, hard to keep up. I'm like a rare foreign. And he also addresses mental health once again with, back then we called it crazy, ain't check on mental health. In my opinion, I feel the album should have ended with this record. It just, for some reason, felt like a strong closing track. But the final song on Cotty 3 is Deceitful Intentions with Cormega, the ever-wise Queensbridge poet. So I do like the thought-provoking life lessons that these two Queens vets are dropping. But I did find the instrumental to be a little too similar tempo-wise to the previous 3 to 4 songs. Like, it's not a bad song, and trust me, I like Cormega, but my ears could have used a less reflective beat at this point. So overall, I'm gonna give this project a rating of 4 mics, probably a solid 4 at this moment. And if this is the final installment of the series, then I say Lloyd Banks ended it on a strong note. I'd argue that it's his most consistent of the trilogy as far as the production being the most cohesive and it having no real missteps or obvious skips. It's also easily his most personal and most introspective of the series in that it shows his depth as an artist. I felt the production was effective throughout. You know, one of the strengths of Cotty 2 was this more varied production, but Cotty 2 also had 2 skips for me. And even though I like Cotty 1, could have been trimmed down a little, but I think that Cotty 3 gets it right the most out of the 3. Another thing I want to highlight is how Cartune Beatz has evolved as a producer since Cotty 1. You know, he went from having more of the gritty Griselda aesthetic sound to now crafting more soulful, lush, and emotive backdrops. You gotta respect the growth from both Banks and Cartune Beatz since they began this series. And as cliche as these words may sound, Banks is indeed 3 for 3 with this trilogy. My favorite tracks include Pieces of My Pain, Onyx AMG, Cliffhanger, 101 Razors, Movie Scenes, LSD Voices, Automatic, Pilot, and Invisible. Let me know what you thought about this project in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. As always, it's peace and blessings. Lloyd Banks, Cotty 3, 1.